Hello, it's Desley here. Coming back to the book, The Legacy of the Starseed Wisdom. We move into chapter 3, where I talk about my awakening and the dark night of the soul. So what did that mean for me? Well, in 2011, I suddenly became very ill and disorientated. I would be okay 1 minute, and then it was almost like I'd moved or shifted, or my world had shifted into a different time and space, and I would be constantly dizzy with disequilibrium, tinnitus in the ears, strange clicking noises which felt like it was in my head, almost like when you're trying to change the channel on a radio. My ears became extremely sensitive, and I could actually feel the humming or hear the humming of the earth, Mother Gaia, and my ears seemed to resonate with the overhead electrical wires and the copper piping in the shower when I was having a shower. I lost a considerable amount of weight. I couldn't eat. I had no appetite. My eyes took on this glazed, staring look, and even my little dog was afraid of me, almost as if I was somebody else, that somebody else had taken over. I would get tingling sensations running up and down my spine, and cold-like sensations, and then I couldn't go to sleep, because if I tried to go to sleep, I'd get what they call myoclonic jerks, which would just wake me back up. And despite everything that I did as a naturopath and various other practitioners, I could not get any relief. I tried the pharmaceutical route, even though I didn't want to, and obviously it was antidepressants for anxiety, which just made me worse and left me in the cupboard shaking uncontrollably. So I happened to ask my meditation teacher at the time if he had any answers, and he said, well, basically you have to just be, because what you're suffering from is what they call ascension flu, where you're getting an upgrade and you're raising your consciousness. So just try and relax and just be, which was very difficult at the time. I did get more into my meditation practice after that, and I started to feel the spirits coming closer, and I'd get soft feather-like touches on my face, letting me know that all was well. Okay, so I'm now going to read part of a chapter on the dark night of the soul, because this was all fine, and then life started to become more woo-woo. So one day, as I was leaving to go out, I noticed an object on the driveway. Unable to reverse the car without moving it, I had a closer look. I found an old garden ornament, a duck, lying on its side. It was antiquated. It looked as if it came from a relic from the past. Obviously, somebody did not appreciate its appearance, and I was about to place it in the rubbish bin, but I suddenly felt compassion for this object. I gave it a quick wash and left it on the porch to dry. Little did I realise that by touching and accepting an energy exchange, my life would become truly woo-woo. When I got home, I noticed it had moved slightly. I thought the wind had moved it, so I put it back where I left it and went inside. The next day it had disappeared, so I thought a marauding dog or cat had taken it. But to my surprise, when I went out into the backyard to retrieve some washing, there it was, lying on its side. How bizarre, I thought. I wondered why anybody would go to such trouble, because you actually have to go round to the back of the house and throw it over the fence. I decided to leave it inside the house after that, not thinking any more about it. The next morning I went outside and I noticed that my fully opened umbrella was on the porch. We'd had no rain in the last few weeks, and I wondered if I'd somehow misplaced it and someone had returned it. I then decided that I'd give the little duck a makeover, so I gave it a wash, removed all the dust and grime, and I considered throwing it away, but I'd gone to so much trouble, so I decided to put it back onto the porch. Now each day when I went to work and I'd come home, it would have moved slightly. It might move slightly to the left or slightly to the right, or it would do a complete flip back onto its side, which was quite a curiosity because most days there was no wind and it was relatively calm. Now I, as someone being sentient, I pay a lot of attention to detail, and I suddenly noticed that things in the house were shifting. There might be photographs that were not in the right place, or there was one in particular of me that I would find flat on the floor in the lounge room every morning. I didn't have any cats at the time, and my dog wasn't that agile to climb up there and knock it over. I thought perhaps I worked in a clinic where there are spirits, and it was suggested that I perhaps had brought a spirit home with me. But it was after that there was quite a few events that changed my whole perception. My daughter had gone to take a shower, and when she got out of the shower, she came out to me and she said, "Did you put that up there?" And I said, "Up where?" And I looked up at the mirror and I was shocked to see the shape of two very large hands. Now, we're not talking your average human hand. These hands were bigger than any male hand that I had ever seen, and I obviously thought it must have been a male for that reason. Now, if you take a shower and you've got condensation on the mirror and you put your handprint onto the mirror, you will see the outline, obviously, of the hand. But this was entirely different because you could actually see all the lines of the palm, just like any other human hand. And it looked like it was behind the mirror and the hand was placed from behind, not on front. I was quite shocked and I just stared at it in consternation. I thought perhaps that someone had broken in and was playing a practical joke, and I was quite concerned that somebody was in the house. We checked around, we checked the doors, we checked up in the roof, we couldn't find anybody. So I left it there for a few days, and then it was starting to give me the creeps, so I decided to rub it off. And then I was outside watering the garden, and it's in direct line to the bathroom mirror. And And as I was watering, I looked up and I couldn't believe it. The hands had returned, and basically exactly the same hands, but just lower down on the mirror. I really didn't know what to think at that time. It was really putting the wind up me. But I just had this faint feeling that they'd only appeared when I'd gone outside, and that somehow it had something to do with that beady-eyed duck. So I will talk about what happened after that in the next chapter. Okay, thanks very much for listening. Bye for now.